Morning, everybody. I thought I'd give a very short note on the Rand and what's happening in the Rand. So the chart that you've got on your screen is a chart I put in a presentation last year, which plots 4 emerging market currencies that are similar to the Rand going back to 2001. And on the left-hand side, you'll see is the 2001 crisis, where the Rand first hit 12 to the US dollar back here at the end of 2001. And the currencies are in black, the Rand, in light green, the Brazilian real, in dark green, the Russian ruble, and in red, the Turkish lira. But the Turkish lira is actually off the right-hand scale because of its angle. So we can see that they've all weakened over those periods, but I want to point out particularly this end period here, that in fact all these currencies are under pressure at the moment as a result of a flight to safety, and global investors are taking a flight to put money into US treasuries because of the risk of the coronavirus around emerging markets. The next chart I'm going to have a look at is exactly the same chart. The only difference is that I'm only looking at the last 500 trading days. So basically it takes 2019 and the early part of 2020. And here you can see again, the light green is the Brazilian real, the dark green is the Russian ruble, the black is the South African rand, and the red is the Turkish lira. You can see that we all have suffered the same devaluation at this point. Very, very severe early devaluation for the Russian ruble on the back of the dollar, and maybe some strength coming back. But everyone has felt the pain, possibly South Africa more so in the last 10 days just because of the downgrade. But we're all much of a muchness from that perspective. And so it's not just South Africa, it's a global phenomenon from that perspective. And then this was a chart that comes off Bloomberg, which Willie very kindly has forwarded to me. And it basically looks at the 200-day moving average of the Rand spot price going back all the way to the early 90s. But you can see there are 4 crises highlighted in red here. There's the dot-com bubble, the financial crisis of 2008-2009, Nenigate, when our finance minister was fired and replaced by Des van Rooyen over the weekend, and then finally this crisis, the coronavirus, and our downgrade. Now you can see we have reached the highest point in amplitude of all 4 of those, probably closer to the dot-com bubble. But the thing to note is that the Rand suffers these very aggressive bouts of devaluation, and then it is followed by a very, very aggressive revaluation thereafter. So this might go worse, it's possible, but history tells us that the Rand is likely to see some sort of active retracement at a later point. So I think it might be that people aren't focusing necessarily on the Rand weakness, but it certainly will be something that's on their minds. And those are things just to highlight that it's not just purely a South African thing, and that invariably these things are overdone. So thank you for your time. I trust that was informative.